Have you ever wondered what lies behind a simple chocolate bar? Today, we will unravel the story of an iconic brand, a sweet empire built on ambition, rivalries, and perhaps some well-kept secrets. Get ready to dive into the fascinating world of Mars, Frank's bitter dream. Our journey begins in the early 20th century. Frank Mars, a man with a childhood marked by poverty and polio that would accompany him throughout his life, dreamed of a better future. His great passion was making sweets. From his kitchen, Frank began experimenting with recipes, selling his creations door to door. This was the humble beginning of what would become a giant in the food industry. However, the road was not easy. Mars' first attempt, a company called Nougat House, was a resounding failure. Competition was fierce, and Frank lacked the necessary capital and experience. But he did not give up. With the help of his second wife, Ethel, Frank moved to Minneapolis and founded Morrow Bar Company. A sweet rebirth. In Minneapolis, Mars' luck began to change. Frank and Ethel created the Milky Way Bar, an instant success. Its unique flavor, a combination of chocolate, malt, and caramel, conquered the palates of Americans. The Milky Way Bar not only saved the company from bankruptcy but also catapulted it to fame. But success brought new challenges. Frank was an astute businessman, but he was also known for his difficult temper and his obsession with control. His relationship with his son, Forrest Mars Sr., was tense and conflicting. The family fracture. Forrest, an ambitious young man with innovative ideas, constantly clashed with his father. The differences between them were irreconcilable. In 1930, after a heated argument, Forrest left the family business. Frank gave him a small sum of money and the rights to manufacture the Milky Way Bar outside the United States. This was a turning point in Mars history. Forrest moved to England and founded his own company, Mars Limited. He adapted the Milky Way recipe to create the Mars Bar, which quickly became a success in Europe. Forrest was a visionary, a man obsessed with quality and efficiency. He introduced innovative production techniques and built a global distribution network. Meanwhile, in the United States, Frank continued to expand his empire. He launched new products, such as the Snickers bar, which also became a bestseller. Despite their differences, Frank and Forrest shared a passion for sweets and an unbridled ambition. The legacy of a divided empire. After Frank's death in 1934, the family business was left in the hands of Ethel and her son, Forrest. However, the relationship between them was distant and conflicting. Forrest felt that his mother did not have the vision or ability to run the company. For decades, the two branches of the Mars family operated independently, competing in some markets and collaborating in others. It was a complex and often tense situation, but it also drove innovation and growth for both companies. The myth of red chocolate. And this is where one of the most persistent and dark myths associated with the Mars brand comes into play: the rumor of red dye obtained from insects. It is said that, in the early years of the company, Mars used a red dye extracted from cochineal, small parasitic insects of plants. This dye, known as carmine or E120, was used to give an intense red color to some of its products. The truth is that the use of carmine is a common practice in the food industry, and Mars was not the only company to use it. However, the rumor spread like wildfire, fueled by distrust of large corporations and the lack of transparency in information about ingredients. Although Mars has repeatedly denied using carmine in its most popular products, the myth persists to this day. Some consumers avoid Mars products for fear of consuming ingredients of animal origin, while others consider it a simple urban legend. A global giant in the 21st century. Today, Mars is much more than a chocolate company. It is a global giant with a presence in multiple sectors, from pet food to chewing gum and candies. Its brands, such as M&M's, Twix, and Whiskas, are recognized worldwide. The company remains family-owned, and the descendants of Frank and Forrest Mars continue to play an important role in its management. Despite the challenges and controversies, Mars has managed to remain one of the most successful and respected companies in the world. The bitter taste of secret. The story of Mars is a story of ambition, innovation, and family rivalry. It is a story that reminds us that, behind every great brand, there is a complex and often conflicting human story. And sometimes, as in the case of the myth of red chocolate, there are secrets that we would rather not know. Because sometimes, behind a simple logo, there is a whole story that few know. Were you surprised by Th. Story of Mars? If you like this journey through myths and brands, don't forget to subscribe and leave your comment. See you in the next video.